Okay, so if you're working on page 9 of the outcome booklet, you're working on constructing an example paragraph. And the reason why we want you to give this activity a go is to have a think about how you might set up your paragraphs and to actually start to think about how you might structure your writing so that when you go to write your actual outcome, you have some feedback from us. So in a paragraph, you guys know that it's one idea only. So for some of you, you might have a paragraph that's going to talk about all the benefits of underwater knitting. And that might be because in your structure, you're going to have all the benefits together and all the consequences together. And then you're going to have a variety of other things all together. And that might be the way you want to do it. Or you might have too much information for that. And instead, you want to do benefit 1 as a paragraph, and then benefit 2 as a paragraph, and then benefit 3 as a paragraph, and then you'd go consequence, etc. It's really just going to depend on your focus questions and what you found out. In the main body of your work, there will be multiple paragraphs. You've got 1,500 or 2,000 words, so you might have anywhere up to 10 or 12 paragraphs if there's lots of mini points. Maybe you'll just have 3 or 4 if they're more condensed points. It's your call. So this is why this practice little activity is really important. So in your paragraphs, we need to make sure you have key findings. Now that's essential. The key finding is what is the point of that paragraph. And often you might put that in a subheading if you're doing a report, or in an essay, it would be in the opening sentence. The next thing that we need to have in our paragraphs is evidence, and that's really important, and it needs to be worked in really clearly, and there are some masterclass videos that you can use to enhance your writing of this. Wherever possible, you need to have supporting and contrasting evidence. If you make a point and you don't have at least 2 sources to prove it, how do you know it's reliable? So that's really an important part, and if you've done your summary table and your dot point draft, you should be able to see how things work. Then you should be able to link your overall point to this finding. So if your question is about the benefits of, say, foster care, and you have talked about each of them, that should bring back should be linked back to the overall question at the end. So what does this look like? All right, in my example here, I have included some research in the topic sentence and the statement. So we have the statement here that a consistently high proportion of stress U12s were at SMC. And what we can do is work through this paragraph to see the different pieces of evidence that support that. So the first piece of evidence is a quote that is explaining why only one person was not stressed. Now obviously this is a silly example designed just to show you how you might write something up. Then this is supported by another piece of evidence. Now, what's really important is that we've got linking evidence, so it's not just whacked in. We're saying, here is an idea, there was high stress, and we've seen that in the quote. And then it was also observed. We're building an argument here. Then you can see that we've pulled some fake evidence off of the SACE board, and then we've pulled some evidence from a forum, and throughout each one we're getting this linking. So it's not just randomly slapped in, it's really clearly building to prove that what we have going on is 4 pieces of really strong evidence that have allowed a conclusion to be drawn. You'll notice that in the first sentence and last sentence, there's no evidence. It's purely my thoughts that I've drawn from interpreting the evidence. This is because you're marked on your ability to find the key findings